First of all, everybody, welcome. This is the Filmmakers and Actors Virtual Mixer 2023 for the Staten Island Summer of Shorts Film Festival. If you're here, you probably know me. I probably know you because you're either an actor or a filmmaker, or maybe you make videos and content on a regular basis on YouTube, or we cross paths some way, or maybe you're a filmmaker who has a film in the Staten Island Summer of Shorts Film Festival, and we're going to talk about that first. Tonight, we are going to have fun, and that is the whole point of it. So, tonight's agenda, we're going to talk about the Staten Island Summer of Shorts Film Festival, what it is, and what you guys can expect coming up in June. Then I just want to, network and kind of meet everybody, and everybody kind of, switch contact info and kind of be inspired from one another, because that is literally the best way to do it, especially in our little field. And I want to know not only who you are, what you're doing, where you're at in your journey with filmmaking, but also what can we as a cool core group do to help one another. We are totally excited about what's going to be happening at our film festival this year, and we hope you guys will be excited too. So we are going to go ahead and get started. But first, I just want to say, if you guys have any questions as I'm going along with this presentation, throw them in the chat and I'll definitely answer them at the end of the discussion. So let's go ahead and get started here. So if you guys don't know, the second annual International Staten Island Summer of Shorts Film Festival is going to be happening on Saturday, June 24th, 2023 at 5 o'clock. This is our second one. We did this last year as kind of a, I don't know, let's put together a film festival and get filmmakers together and see what happens, right? And we were surprised. This was our first go at let's launch a film freeway page. And for those who do not know, it's kind of the general medium of, if you're a filmmaker and you want to submit your movies to festivals, you go onto this database that has every film festival going on in the world, and people can submit their films. So we did that, and we were surprised that we got, I want to say between 50 and 100 submissions. And that's our first year, and it wasn't bad at all, because most film festivals, they're in the 1,000 range. But for us just getting started, it blew us away. We hit max capacity, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And we were just shocked that we turned around, and once the doors opened, we turned around, we're like, wow, we filled this whole venue up. And it was just like instant success for us. So we were excited about that. Everyone had a great time, great turnout, and a lot of connections were made, which we couldn't ask for a better time. What I want to do is, again, we established this last year in a fundraising effort for Historic Port Richmond Preservation Association, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the Reformed Protestant Dutch Church, which was established in about 1665. And, you could imagine when you have a building and an organization that's been around for almost 400 years, it starts to get a little old and a little deteriorating, and we want to keep the preservation up. And why is that so important? Why not just say, it's an old church? Well, the thing about this church is what makes it unique is that it is one of the oldest churches in New York. And there is a cemetery on the property that has a lot of burials of some of America's founding fathers. And I'm not talking about like the Native Americans and back that far. I'm talking about when the European settlers came over, and there's some lawyers and judges, and when they started, creating America, and their buildings, the faith was the biggest thing. But the church, is, they need some repairs. They need people to, keep up with the landscape and such, and it costs money. So for them to keep on going, as a filmmaker myself, I came up with the concept of, hey, how can I help? How can I, be able to support this cause and organization? And yeah, the church could go ahead and do a spaghetti feed and, charge X amount of money and cook lots of spaghetti. And yeah, that's kind of cool. But I think going to the movies, going to film festivals would be a lot ideal and fun. And everybody loves movies. So why not? Right. I could go on about the history of the church, but for 400 years, no one wants to sit here and listen to me talk about that. So on your own, you can go to reformedchurchsi.org. Very nice website. They have a breakdown of the timeline. So if you're a history buff and you're into that, if you're from Staten Island and you're like, hey, I want to know more about it, go to the website. All the information's on there. Um, and what is cool for us filmmakers and people who are in the industry is that the church is often used as a film location for television shows and movies all the time. HBO's Boardwalk Empire, they ended up winning an Emmy because they filmed a couple scenes for the show, and it ended up getting an Emmy for best sound because you could imagine a church building, right? And having the acoustics. And they, of course, did like this mob scene and they were beating people up. So you got the sound of like all these, Foley sound effects that were recorded in the church. Ended up winning an Emmy for that show that year when it came out. Wu-Tang Clan, they just filmed a couple years back for Hulu in the church building. And so, I mean, whether you're like an American history buff or you're a film nerd, like most of us are here, you're going to be like just impressed with the building. So that's why it's pretty vital to keep it going, right? So the max capacity is 200. And last year, people were like, Vinny, you should do the film festival at the St. George Theater, which is also on Staten Island for those who are not from the area. And we thought about it and we thought, that would be kind of cool, fill up a big, you know, ancient theater. But we thought, I don't know, we're already in New York where it's overly crowded, right? So it's like I'm not big on crowds anymore. So I'm like, I like it when it's comfortable and it's just enough people to make that impact where you're like, wow, there's a lot of people. Just like going to concerts, you hate going to arena shows where it's like 20,000. It's like you rather have it small and intimate, and that's what we want to keep it. We want to showcase filmmakers who are maybe just getting started or they've been in the industry making movies for years. And the reason why that is because everyone needs to start somewhere. And also, having a caliber of films is inspiring for us filmmakers. I remember making my first short film, putting it into a film festival, sitting there, and I kind of felt embarrassed because I looked at all the other movies going, whoa, my movie needs some work. Like I thought mine was good going into the festival, and I see some like, maybe a $200 budget and then like a $20,000 budget film and going, ooh, like wow, I need a lot to work on and learn.
Mhm.
And it's just inspiring to see what others are working on. So the way it's going to work is if you guys plan on coming to the film festival, it's the doors are going to open up at 5 p.m. We're going to have a red carpet arrival. So we roll out the red carpet. You guys show up, check in, get your VIP badges, get your tickets. You walk down the red carpet with, if you made a film for the festival, it's also open to everyone that was involved with your film. So your PAs, your grips, your sound mixer, they can come and strike a pose on the red carpet. We're not going to say, "Oh, hey, hey, that's just your editor. We don't want him on the red carpet." No. Everyone's involved, family, friends. There are media opportunities as well. So we actually have Mrs. Q in the room here, and she'll tell you a little bit more about herself, but maybe she'll be doing some red carpet interviews in a unique way. So maybe we'll brainstorm on that later. But we get some of the local news stations from the New York area involved. They're always invited, the local newspapers and whatnot. So then we have the concession stands. They're open. I know last year I think we had like hot dogs and popcorn and just movie themed candy. So I mean, if you guys come hungry, I know every time I watch anything in front of the TV, I'm like, I gotta have a snack, right? It's just a natural habit to do. So then we have some beverages too for the adults, so it's a good time. And so between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, that's your opportunity too to network in person, like, hey, how you doing? Hey, my name's Trammell. I directed this movie. It's playing. It's number third on the list. Check it out. Nice to meet you. Fist bump, whole 9 yards. And that's so important to do at film festivals. At 6 o'clock, we're going to start showcasing the short films. So this year we have a total of 12 short films, and they can range from a 60-second video to up to a 15-minute narrative film. So we have a good mix of, we have comedy, we have drama, we have horror, thriller, like a musical, sci-fi. I mean, it's just a documentary. It's a wide range, which I just love, because when you have a variety, it's something for everyone. This year, we're going to have the award ceremony. We did this last year, and we kind of recognize, all the filmmakers in some way or another. We also have what they call the People's Choice Award. So we encourage, filmmakers, hey, if you have family, friends on Staten Island or surrounding areas, bring them out, because guess what? It's honestly like a popularity contest. Am I right? I mean, you guys done this so many times before where you're like, oh man, that movie wasn't good, but they brought 50 people. They brought their mama, their sister, their baby daddy, their baby mama, their baby mama's mama. And you're going, man, how'd they get 100 votes? And I brought just me and my mom, and we only got 2 votes, So bring everyone out. I encourage you that. And what's cool, last year we named the People's Choice Award the Oscar Teal Award. Oscar Teal was a gentleman who worked as a magician with Harry Houdini, but he also designed the building that the church, where the films are being shown. So it's like, how crazy is that, right? Small world, right? Who knew a magician could build a wooden structure that 400 years later we're playing movies in? It's insane. But this year we're naming the People's Choice Award after a gentleman named Joshua Merzaro, and he was a spy for General George Washington. So, I mean, it's just crazy that, like, who knew a guy riding a horse during the Revolutionary War 400 years later is get an award named after the guy. So, pretty cool stuff, and we just want to remember that. We want to remember our veterans. We want to remember them in some kind of fashion. And his family, belonged to the church. So it's just a lot of history that you guys we're making this a living history festival. To close out the night, last year we didn't do this, but this year we wanted to expand our festival, take it up a notch, and we want to showcase a feature film at the end of the evening. So reached out to filmmakers, hey guys, submit your feature films, and we got a bunch of them. Our judges reviewed the films frame by frame, and they got back to me and they said, hey, we want this movie in our festival. And not sure if the filmmaker is going to join us this evening, but he's based in Boston, Massachusetts, and he has an incredible film that I think everyone's going to be moved by the end of the night after seeing it. So that's kind of the itinerary you guys can plan for, and just kind of know in your head, like, all right, this is what I'm getting into. This is the real deal right here on Staten Island. This is going to be fun. So I hope you guys are stoked about it. This year we also have international films too. We had a couple last year, I believe, from like New Zealand and Scotland. This year we have Turkey, France, Australia, I believe, again, and somewhere else. My mind's slipping right now, but Greece. Yeah, we have a film from Greece as well. So talk about diversity, talk about being able to see stories from other perspectives and other cultures. And just like, I was watching the film from Greece and I'm like, wow, that's what it looks like over there. That's pretty cool. Like, you don't, you get to see, when you watch TV shows and movies, it feels like in America they're all the same now. It's, guy meets a girl, he bumps his, shopping cart, in the grocery store. 2 minutes later they have this perfect, studio apartment and overlooking Central Park, and you're like, yeah, I wish that would happen in real life, right? And then you see these films from other countries and you're going, wow, as a filmmaker, I need to think outside of the box, man. Like, I need to stop making Quentin Tarantino movies and I need to start making, Japanese horror films or something, or, Switzerland chick flicks or so. Like, who knows. But it's really exciting to be able to see what's going on. Here are some photos from last year's event. You just never know who you're going to rub elbows with. Last year, we were surprised to see our buddy Uncle Nino from MTV's Jersey Shore, Gary Pastor. If you guys know Vincent Pastor from The Sopranos, that's his cousin. But Gary's been in a bunch of films too. You can check his IMDb out. On the bottom left there, you can see some of the interviews. Staten Island CTV came out and did some interviews. And like I said, we filled the place up and I think you guys will be excited about the venue. It's really nice. So super excited to have everybody involved in coming from afar and close up. So here are some of the films. These are the international selections. So we have Finding Sargent. This was the Australian film. We have Theta the Conqueror, that comes from both Turkey and Paris, France, Just Like Water. And you filmmakers, you probably can recognize those little things. They got the little wings. Those are called Film Festival laurels. You could see how many awards this film has got, and it has not, had a theatrical release. It's just like, you'll really appreciate it as a filmmaker, just to be like, wow, that's cool. I want to get to that level. I want my little movie to get, I can't even count how many there are, probably 20, 30 awards. So that's awesome. Then we have this is our local and semi-local filmmakers, and one of them is in this room right now. So we have The Door, which is a film that I believe was filmed in Pennsylvania, but the filmmaker is based in New Jersey. We have Erosion, which is a student film from the CSI College of Staten Island. And he's got a short film. He submitted a film last year. His film didn't make it in because we had so many submissions, but this year he came back and pretty much impressed the judges and blew them away. And we're like, wow, very creative. Let's put it in there. So, and we have Cold Maria. Oh man, what a flick. You guys are in for a treat. We're gonna talk about to the filmmaker about his film in a little bit. So stick around for that. Very curious to know more about it. We have a family-friendly film called Puppetitis. We have The Dance by Carrie Sheehan. It's an animated film, so I was super excited. I was like, I want to get like a Pixar type of movie, something cartoonish, and then we got a submission and I was like, cool, let's throw that one in there. How many of you guys know about that show, What We Do in the Shadows, or seen the movie? You guys ever heard of that? All right. So basically, they kind of based it around Staten Island, New York during the vampire age, right? And, it's an interesting show, for what it is. And we got a submission and we were like, we got to put this in here. This is absolutely brilliant. It's original, it's unique. And the filmmaker who is also starring in the film is joining us. So we're going to talk to them in a little bit. So we're super excited, and they come from Texas. So it's really exciting to have them be a part of it. And I want to say they are like right now full-time filmmakers. Every time I reach out to them, like, hey, how are you? They're like, can't talk. I'm on a movie set. And I'm like, that is so cool. Like, how many people do you get to meet that are like they're doing what they love to do, right? Like on a regular basis. So we have The Man from Granada, The Fourth Wall, Always Bring a Gift, and our feature film of the night is Healing Dakota. So you animal lovers out there, you are just going to be, like I said, you're going to be moved, and you're just going to you're gonna have a greater appreciation for those pets in our life. So I'm super excited to show this. This movie is actually being distributed like everywhere now, and I'm just like, ooh, this is awesome. We get to show it. Like I posted the other day on Facebook, like it's such a treat to be able to show this film because I sincerely mean it. So very cool. And of course, then we're going to end that night with before the feature film, we're going to have the Staten Island Summer Ashore Awards. And I kind of touched upon that. So that's going to be exciting. Tickets are on sale now, and we urge people to get them because it's going to be first come, first serve basis. And once we sell out, once we hit that 200 capacity, I don't want the FDNY coming in and saying, "Hey, everybody, get out! You guys have too many people in the room." So we're once we run out of tickets, we run out of tickets, and this film festival is, 100% in person. So if people are like, "Well, I'll wait and just watch it online," well, sorry, not going to happen. I want to connect with each and one of you, and I'm going to just call on somebody. You can tell us your name. Where are you from? Do you have a film in the film festival or not? Um, uh, and if you're working on a current project, feel free to, throw that out there. Maybe you do something on a regular basis and you can say, "Hey, I do this. I have a YouTube show," whatever it is.
My name is Dominica Herrera. Live here in San Antonio, Texas. My background is in fashion and filmmaking. So I do modeling, acting. Our family is a creative family, so we produce films. I also manage a small group of talent, so I have actors and models. And we're like a family here in Texas. So we have each other's backs. We help each other with everything from fashion shows to films. But yes, we do have a film. So ours is Gothic Grayson Street, Part One. It's in the film festival. So thank you, Vinnie and team, whoever selected us. Thank you. We're very blessed. We actually have 2 episodes that we've already finished and completed, and we are in the works of scripting Part 3. So Gothic Grayson Street, it's a mockumentary, and it's about vampires that live here in Texas. So it's got everything from, I would say, humor to some drama, to where we turn the moment and then it gets a little serious because there's actual, blood we have to feed, things like that. So it's kind of a little something for everyone, I would say. I think everyone would enjoy it.
Yeah,
So it
a
has,
little.
serious moments, and then it has humor as well.
Nice, nice. And Enzo, you're a filmmaker as well. Did you work on that project too?
I was involved more on episode 2. I played the narrator, and I was another cinematographer on set for both shooting days. On the first shooting day, we were shooting in like a mansion where they're feeding on a human, and then in the second shooting day, we were filming at a club. So it was a dance scene.
It was like a bar.
Yeah.
And my son, well, Enzo's 15, in case y'all don't know, but he's a professional cinematographer as well and photographer. So luckily the owner was really cool with us. So he let Enzo in and we said, "Hey, we're coming here to work, to film." He's part of the crew, so they let him in. So he was in the bar, working.
So let's go over to our boy Tremel over in Staten Island, and he has a film called Cold Maria. And give us a background on you.
How's everyone doing? My name is Tremel Stroman. You guys can call me Mel. My name's a little difficult to pronounce. Basically, I'm the writer-director of Cold Maria. The background on that, I originally wrote it. It was a passion project of mine. Honestly, I was at home dealing with COVID, and I was in the middle of film school, and I decided to come up with an idea of something that I felt like could motivate, but at the same time disturb. It's a revenge thriller film. Essentially, it's about a battered woman who's struggling to overcome insurmountable loss. And in the process of trying to seek vengeance, she goes a little bit too far. She begins to almost question how far is too far. It was a struggle. I went through a lot of the rookie aspects of filmmaking. Life gets in the way. During the process of it, I had a fire at my home, a lot of loss, but I didn't, let it stop me from the process. So just to even be involved in this film festival is a win for myself, for my family. I'm honored to be here, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. And that fire, that is crazy. I know a
Yeah,
lot of us have excuses like, well, but hey, if Mel can make a movie after a fire and keep on going, man,
yeah,
there's inspiration right there. Got to keep on rocking and rolling. Um,
absolutely.
so growing up, were you into film, or did this come later in life in recent years?
I was absolutely into film. From age, I would say 5 or 6. My mom took me to see it was an older film. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It was called Taps, with Gregory Hines, and I believe Sammy Davis Jr. was in it. That was the first film I went to see. Ever since then, I was hooked. The old Rocky films, Little Shop of Horror, that just caught my attention. But life happens, I got caught up in just everything else other than what I should have been. And just being on Staten Island, we didn't have the resources at that time. There were no programs for kids from my area to help you grow into filmmakers. It was either basketball or, you get a job. So I took a chance on myself a few years ago. I stopped my regular job. I've always been writing, and I just decided to actually take action. That was the difference. I've been writing for years, but this time I actually developed something from it.
Are there other fellow Staten Islanders that are starring in your movie, or you actually got some people from the city, right?
Yeah, there's a few people from the city. Danielle Jones, actually, she's in here as well. She was my script supervisor as well as just a motivator for the process. So kudos to her for that. But I used my resources, film school, um, backstage. But a lot of it was film school. When you're starting off, you can't really afford, big budget. So a lot of it was calling in favors, um, paying people as we could. I had, family members chip in with catering. It was using every resource possible to make the film come together. Mostly,
Absolutely.
just using the resources. You'd be surprised who you may know that would be interested in helping a film come to life, if you approach them the right way about it. So don't ever doubt yourself or your capabilities of getting the money together, getting the funding for it.
Danielle, if you wanna touch upon anything else that Mel didn't touch upon, you can formally introduce yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Danielle. Um, I'm cheesing a lot because I am super proud of Tramel. I helped him, as you mentioned, on the project called Maria. Um, and I met him in film school as well. And it's a really interesting time to decide to go to film school in the midst of a global shutdown. But it was, I think, one of the best decisions I ever made. And I'm super proud that he was able to get this film in. I helped him with the script, and I'm just cheesing right now because of that. And I'm just happy to be around other creators. But okay, name, where I'm from. Yes, the film called Maria. Current projects, I'm still in the process of writing 2 things. During the time of this whole pandemic, I had a brief period where I was taking care of my grandmother who has Alzheimer's disease. So that kind of inspired me to put together 2 shorts, which I'm still writing now. One, I wanted to dedicate more to caretakers in general, and dealing with Alzheimer's in particular. It's a very specific illness, and it's a specific type of thing that you have to deal with someone who, the person who raised you, who took care of you, is now sick and they're not mentally well. They may not remember who you are and whatnot. So I wanted to kind of go through that. That would be more of it's a domestic drama, but they're actually, as much as it's sad, I wanted to add some elements of comedy to it because there are definitely a lot of funny moments I've had with my grandmother as well. So I'm just trying to figure that out, trying to work into making a good story when it comes to that. But that'll be a short. Um, Hopefully in the future developing it into a feature, because I think that's a story that needs to be told. Like, I don't like the fact that we don't talk enough about the elders, and I like stories when we talk more about them. And
Right.
also with taking care of her, this is the woman who helped raise me, so just going back in that space and just reliving what my childhood was like, I wanted to do a piece where someone is talking to a younger version of themselves. And that's going to be more abstract, more artistic, but that'll be more of a drama as well.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have met you tonight and glad you're here. And we look forward to seeing you in person, walk the red carpet, figure out which outfit you're going to wear.
I'm working on it now.
But hey, I like it. Dig it, right? Let's go over. I know I mentioned her earlier and kind of teased it a bit, but let's go to Mrs. Q and let's learn a little bit about you. All good.
I'm Karen Quinones, and I never appear publicly like this as Mrs. Q. So you'll never see Mrs. Q looking like this. I'm a historian of the American Revolution. I'm an author. I appear on various TV shows about American history. And something Vinnie doesn't know is that some time ago, I received a degree in film and photography from NYU Tisch School of the Arts. So I have a big background in film and photography myself, although it's not something I pursued professionally. What I do though is I make video about life in 18th century New York, and I appear in videos as Mrs. Q, which is my 18th century character. So I was surprised to hear Vinnie mentioning that maybe I will be interviewing people on the red carpet. And if so, I will be dressed as Mrs. Q, and you'll get to see me in some sort of magnificent 18th century outfit for the night. And maybe I'll get some other 18th century characters to come along with me, maybe a couple soldiers to stand next to me, or a couple gentlemen or something. To frame the picture. I'll see who we can dig up to help out. But that's what I do. I do my own video. I'm on YouTube as Patriot Tours NYC, which is my tour company. And I'm on Instagram as Mrs. Q NYC. And like I said, you won't see me like this. This is my research, writing, and staying at home person. I don't appear in public looking like this. So it's kind of a rare opportunity to see me with no wig, no makeup, no period clothes, just my glasses and a sweater. But it's nice meeting all of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the film festival and getting a chance to interview everyone and see what your thoughts are and what you're up to that night.
I see an old familiar friend that I haven't seen in years in person, just because life gets crazy. But I'm talking about Bethany over here. And back in the day, we met at a major music festival and for years and years. And but I knew Bethany for probably 4 or 5 years, and she'd always ask me, besides doing music stuff, Vinny, what are you up to? And I said, I'm making a movie or trying to make this film, or I acted in this commercial. And she's like, I love film too. And I thought, what? That's crazy. So Bethany, give us the rundown on your background and who you are, where you're from, and go on.
Hi, I'm Bethany. I live about an hour, some change from Chicago in the Northwest Indiana area. I did meet Vinny back in the day. I was on the Vans Warped Tour for 8 years. And I've been I did a lot of music, events, touring, festivals, film festivals. I've done everything from Tribeca to Sundance. And let's see, I was at South by Southwest for years. And I started basically in audio. So basically the audio comments really ring true. And so I've done it live, but also a bit more in I've done a bit in film. I've done a lot of smaller film stuff, but not basically like when we're talking, you're like, oh, you need this, sure, I can help with it. So you need somebody who's a grip, cool, I'll help with that. You need somebody who can hold the boom or do the mixing or something. I do that. Yeah, I've even done my share of catering. So that's what I've done in and I guess I do now have some credits. I didn't really know on some of the stuff, so I was very excited when I actually started seeing I had credits for things. But let's see, what should I say? I'm actually doing some writing right now. I've gotten a bit of time to do that, so that's always fun. Where I'm at in the Northwest Indiana here, I have actually a little production studio here where I have like lighting and cameras and the whole shabam and a whole studio. So it's exciting, but I love the travel. I also have a place out in Australia as well, so I'm back and forth. I go everywhere, and I enjoy it, and I do things because I love it. And I have to say, I have known Vinnie for years, and it's been a wonderful experience to see how much he does, and how much he's grown since, my gosh, I don't know, was it 14 when I met you? 15?
A little bit older than that, I think, but
Okay,
yeah,
maybe.
something.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
I
all
have
good.
to
I
say,
know.
it's been quite a while. That's aging me right here. But yeah, if anybody needs anything, or if I like to connect people or do logistics or anything I can do. I know a lot of people from all different walks of life. I will be glad to help out with anything. And I love horror films at film festivals. I love how people react, and I get scared so badly. So that's how it's so much fun when I can actually react and not have to worry about people going, shh.
Well, Bethany, I'm sure if once you get those scripts going and you're like, hey, I need an up and coming filmmaker, hey, you can circle back around. And hey, if you're in the New York area visiting family, friends, hey, you're welcome to join us in June for the festival. I know it'll be fun to have you. All right, let's go over to this guy over here. Grew up in Jersey, spent time in Pennsylvania. He makes movies. He's worked at casinos doing videos, and his name's Anthony. And I've worked with him on a couple of projects over the years. And introduce yourself, buddy.
Yeah, I'm Anthony. I'm a videographer, cinematographer, and sometimes filmmaker. Um, yeah, me and Vinnie have collaborated with a few projects for each of us over the last few years and stuff. We actually both have short films that are going to premiere next weekend at a film festival out here in Pennsylvania. They call it the Mystery Box Challenge, where you get like a box and it has a certain amount of props, and you get like a character name, and you get a line of dialogue that you have to use in your film and stuff, and you have to put it all together, and then you have from anywhere from a minute to like 10 minutes long short film that you can do.
With your career as a filmmaker, unfortunately, you don't have a film in the festival this year, but what do you, when people look back and they say, oh, Antonio Cutro is a filmmaker, what kind of filmmaker are you?
I do all types. I like comedy, I like action, horror, sci-fi, basically anything, that I can get my hands on.
Awesome, awesome. And is there anything in the works that you're working on in the near future that you may need help with?
Um, hoping to be doing my 48 hours Sacramento Film Festival in, I guess, about a month or so. We haven't gotten exactly the exact date yet when that's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Coming soon. Yeah, that's always fun. Very cool, very cool. Well, maybe if your schedule's open, you can come out to the film festival in New York. And I know you're a big horror fan, so I'm sure you'll enjoy the caliber of these films. So Nicole wants to jump in and kind of give us a background on her.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I love making friends and meeting new people in the industry, so this is really fun. So just to give a bit of a background, me and Vinnie actually met recently. I believe, was it back in October? I think it was a film meetup. Backtrack about 3 years ago, I was living in New York and I was doing a lot of mostly digital content. Like I was working on a web series where I was like the first AD, and it was like an eco-friendly comedy about these two girls who get this idea to just drop everything and become YouTube stars, and they get in all these crazy mishaps. And so that was really fun to work on. It was basically an eco-friendly comedy. And that was what a lot of the content was based around. It was called Jade and Jaded, so that's on YouTube. And I was working on a lot of commercials and stuff, doing PA gigs, producing smaller projects here and there. But a lot of digital content, that's a lot of my experience for the most part. And then the pandemic kind of brought me back to Pennsylvania for a bit, where I did I was working for this fashion art lifestyle subscription platform, where I was helping out with a lot of virtual content, where I would interview people in the fashion industry who are the future of fashion, and I would kind of write treatments and anything like that. I kind of started out doing mostly I was doing I was basically an assistant, and then they were putting me in charge of a show that I was working on, and it was interviewing people who are trailblazers in the fashion industry and doing really unique things with that. So and right now, though, I totally took a 360 spin, and I'm kind of doing a lot of voice acting now. So I kind of put the production stuff down for a bit. I was kind of doing a little bit of everything, and I'm doing voice acting right now. So I've been working with a coach, and I'm mostly focused on that. So it's kind of about finding your people at this point. I was really happy to meet Vinnie, because I think it's really cool to just get to connect with other filmmakers in the area, and kind of I basically grew up in Pennsylvania, but I had been away for so long. I basically went away to film school after I graduated from high school. And then from there, I went to New York. So it's really my first time back here in many, many years. So I'm kind of just getting reacquainted with the area, kind of trying to find my people here. So yeah, it's been really nice to get involved with this group. And, Vinnie and I might work on a project soon together. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, so it's been really nice, and I'm looking forward to kind of exploring this a little bit more, this acting side of things. I don't know if I'm going to be any good, so stay tuned, but I'm trying. So that's what's important. I like to try new things and kind of, put myself out there as much as possible. I kind of like to say I'm a jack of all trades. There's not one thing I've focused on. I kind of like to try so many different things.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you're giving it a shot and you're working towards,
Why not?
the voice acting. I think it's a great, whether it works out or not, it's just awesome because it's so simple, and yet there is a technique to it. I'm not saying it's the
Right.
easiest thing in the world, because I'm the same way. People are like, Vinnie, you have a voice that should be in radio. And I worked at a radio station, and I'd hear the playback and I'm like,
It's right.
oh, that's my voice. Oh, why do I
Just
have a radio accent? I don't have a California or East Coast accent. I have a radio accent. What is that?
Yeah, I
But
spent
hey,
years just hating my voice. It was my biggest insecurity, which is really ironic. I'm trying to make a living out of it now. So that's, yeah.
it works, but that is awesome. So be sure to like us on Facebook, because I would like to do this again, possibly next month, 1 month before the film festival, just to kind of follow up. And I'm hoping the other filmmakers, because again, I said we have 12 short films. We have an amazing feature film that's going to be shown. So I'd love for the other filmmakers to connect before we all, meet in person. Any other questions? Jot down that phone number. If you have any questions regarding the film festival, can you put some tickets on hold, or hey, what should I wear, or whatever. What's your favorite food or something like that, whatever, feel free to call, drop a message. And to learn more about the venue, the Reformed Church in Staten Island's actually having a GoFundMe right now because they're in a desperate need right now to repair, do some repairs around the church. And like I said, when you have a church that's near 400 years old, you could imagine, you know, maybe new flooring, new roof, new air conditioning units are probably outdated or whatnot. So it's good to, you know, check them out, support what they're doing. And I hope this guy was a little bit helpful. I hope it was educational and informal and fun and a great way to spend a Thursday night instead of turning on the news and feeling depressed, right? Of what's going on in our crazy world. But that's why we got to stick to what we love doing. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you later.
Hope to meet you guys in June.
Everyone, nice meeting you.
Good night.
Bye.